Sairam, do you know which month in the year the dogs bark the least? There is a scientific rationale for this question and answer. Well, the answer is February, because it has the least number of days, 28 or 29, among all the other months of the year. Along similar lines, do you know which time or period of the year is considered as the worst by every youngster? I don't say month because the time period may vary depending on which part of the world you are in. But most probably the answer to this question is examination time. Tests and examinations, they bring in every youngster fear, dread, irritation, worry, tension. These exams ensure that we feel sleepy during the day and are unable to sleep at night. They make us eat in between meals and ensure that we don't feel hungry during meals. All the biology and chemistry in our body goes haywire and we feel so nervous. Many times the nails in our fingers, they get chewed. We don't need a nail cutter because of the tension that these tests and examinations bring. And you know, this is universal. It's not just that it affects the students who are considered a bit weak in studies. Even the so-called toppers, rankers and those who are good in studies also feel the same. And then it doesn't stop at the youngsters. It percolates and starts affecting the parents, the teachers, even the grandparents possibly. Tests and exams bring us a lot of worry. But what does Swami tell about these tests? Swami says, test is my taste. In multiple discourses, Swami says, you should never feel fear of tests and examinations, because it is a test or an exam alone that will promote you and take you higher. Let us begin with some general tips for the long term. This is taken from a discourse that Swami delivered on the 18th of August 1983 to Balvika's gurus and children. In that discourse, Swami very nicely says that you start studying and reading your books. You study it throughout the night, go to bed and wake up in the morning and you are not able to remember it. But at the same time, you are able to remember, recollect and reproduce a movie song that you heard 10 years back. How is that possible? Swami says the difference comes because of focus. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, meaning the one who pays attention and one who has focus gains knowledge. Swami says that the focus that you have while watching a movie, you don't have that same focus in your class when lessons are being taught. If you have the same focus, you don't even have to study the night before the exams. The second thing that Swami says is about making notes when we study. Whatever is taught in class, come back home and on the same day quickly revise them. And how do you know you revise them? Swami says take another notebook and in that notebook, as you are reading, make the important points and just have these points. They will help you a lot. You know, when we travel from one place to another, whether we are using Google Maps or whether we are traveling from our memory, we don't remember the entire route. We just remember certain landmarks. And based on these landmarks, we are able to find our way. In a similar manner, these points that we make, these notes that we make as we study, will serve as landmarks for our memory map and we will never forget what we have studied. The third long-term instruction that Swami gives is to never study late into the night. In fact, night time is tamasic time. Did you know that? If you did not, watch Aryan and Gautam discuss Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic times. It will surely help you along with entertaining you. So, what Swami says is instead of studying and burning the midnight oil, get up early in the morning and study. It will be fresh and things will go in and stay as well. Your efficiency will be very high. Now we move on to tips that we can use for a few days or weeks before the examination. The first thing that Swami says, this is taken from a discourse that Swami delivered to the students in Trai Brindavan in the 1990s. I do not know the exact date. There Swami says, always aim high. Low aim is a crime. How can you aim for getting only 35 or 40%? Don't try to get pass marks. What does it mean when you get 35 out of 100? It means that out of 100 problems that come to you, 65 problems you don't know the answer. That is very, very shameful. Always aim high. Aim to get 95 or 100. Then possibly you will land at 75 or 80. If you aim at 40, you will land at 18 or 20, Swami says. And the next thing Swami says is very interesting. He says that in the examination, you are supposed to write the answers. But while preparation, you only read the answers. How can this help? You should practice whatever you are going to do in the examination. And that is why, even though you think you know the answer, write and practice the answers. I find this as a very perfect suggestion, the single most important one that will help us to improve our grades and marks. I remember when we used to practice for the convocation drama, the drama in charge would tell us that we need to do our individual practices throughout the day, but every day at sharp 6 o'clock, we will have the entire drama rehearsal, whatever be the stage of readiness. We had to get together, all of us, all scenes with the music and practice it. And he was very, very particular about 6 o'clock. We used to wonder why till he explained the reason. He said, on the 22nd of November, you will be performing this drama in Swami's presence, in Swami's physical presence at 6 p.m. If we practice daily at 6 p.m., automatically on that day, you will get the right emotions, the right words, the right attitude, the right perspective. Everything will come automatically because you are practicing this for 21 days at least. And that was so true. See, that is what is the importance of practicing whatever we have to perform. So when it comes to examinations, when we have to write, it's better to practice by writing. Writing also has another advantage. It helps us to improve the quality of our handwriting. I remember there was this inorganic chemistry paper which when I received, I saw that one question had not been corrected and therefore it was a 5 marks question and I felt that I could get more marks if I pointed this out to the teacher. When I showed it to him, our teacher Jagdishwar Rao sir, he said, Arvind, this what you have written is totally wrong. See? And he showed me why I was wrong. I said, oh, I am sorry sir, but since this was not corrected, I thought that it was missed. And then he told me, no, see, you have written it so neatly, your handwriting is so neat, how neatly you have marked and separated each question. I didn't feel like putting one big cross over it and ruining the paper. That's why I see in this corner, and he showed me that in one corner of the paper he had put a cross mark. So you see, when we have a good handwriting, the teacher who is correcting or the moderator, whoever is there, he or she themselves will have a very good frame of mind, which is beneficial for us in getting more marks. And now we come to the D-Day, the day of the examination. Swami says that when you are seated there, even before you receive your question papers, make a prayer to God. Pray to God and surrender everything to Him. Prayer will strengthen you. Prayer will be your greatest strength. Then, once you receive the question paper, go through it calmly for 5 minutes. Spend 5 minutes to go through and tick and select the easiest questions first. Swami says that on many occasions, the first question will be hard. And even as you attempt to answer it, you will get fear. You will start thinking that, oh my God, I don't know this answer properly. What will happen? I may start getting bad marks. The mind starts going into a loop of confusion and fear. And because of this, Swami says that later on, even if there's an easy question to which you knew the answer, you will not be able to recollect because your mind is now nervous, in fear and confused. Therefore, don't get into this negative cycle. Build a virtuous and positive cycle by selecting the easy questions first. Answer them. And even as you start answering all the easy questions, your confidence will build up. And with high confidence, even questions that are supposed to be difficult will become easy for you. Another thing that Swami says is, in case you come across difficult questions for which you do not know the answer, don't try to be over smart and try to fool the teacher. Don't try to, write one sentence correct and fill nonsense in between and end on something else. Because Swami says that the teacher is much more experienced and much more wise than you. He or she will see through your game. And when that happens, the teacher will get very upset. And an upset teacher correcting your paper is not good news for you. Then, what about questions that are out of syllabus? Sometimes this happens. Swami says, when you see a question that is out of syllabus, don't lose heart, don't get upset, don't get angry. Because losing heart or getting upset and angry will disturb your equilibrium. It will disturb your common sense, it will disturb your thinking. Instead of it, think calmly that this is a game that the teacher is playing with you. When you think of it as a game and do your best, Swami says many times very, very creative answers come, because a calm and peaceful mind, a tranquil mind is what helps us to see through. Swami says the mind is a Manasa Sarovara, the lake of the mind. If there are ripples on the surface of the lake, you can't see the bottom of the lake. But if it is calm, like the Manas Sarovar, you can see very deep within. So too, you will find answers for even these out of syllabus questions if you keep calm and don't get angry and upset. Well, with these tips, I am sure that we will all do very well, not just in the tests and examinations in school and college, but also in the tests and examinations of life. Dear brothers and sisters, again on multiple occasions Swami has said that whenever you think of a test and exam, you should feel joy in your heart. It is that joy that will help you do better and will help you progress. Never feel fear. Always replace that fear with joy. Why fear when Sai is here? Why fear when Sai is near? Why fear when Sai is dear? Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.